We'll stay with this because, as I've said for almost 2 years, there was no way that Joe Biden would be on the ballot come November. And once the world saw his mental decline during that first presidential debate, even those involved in the cover-up could no longer hide the reality the time was up for the lead Democrat. It was one thing to hide him away last time using the excuse of the pandemic, but this time his decline was unmistakable. Even changing the stairs on Air Force One couldn't save him.
Anyway, I want to hand it over to the President of Ukraine, ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare
Today, a procession of Democratic Party royalty from the Obamas and Clintons down all lined up to praise Biden as a great patriot and a consequential president. Now, I'm not so sure. After running as a centrist and a healer, he turned out to be the most left-wing president ever, with all the now standard climate and identity obsessions and the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which is essentially a green energy boondoggle. For Australia, though, we can be grateful to him for AUKUS, which wouldn't have happened without his support, even if he did manage to forget Scott Morrison's name.
And I want to thank that fellow down under. Thank you very much, pal.
A big question for the president now is how can he continue as Commander-in-Chief until January with yesterday's admission he isn't fit to run for the White House? So expect the pressure to grow for Joe Biden to step down early and give Kamala Harris the advantage of incumbency. If that doesn't happen, it'll be a sign that the Democratic Party would prefer to have her campaigning rather than governing, where the pressure on her would be much greater. Don't forget that she wasn't originally picked for any sort of expertise. She was picked because she ticked all the right identity boxes, as Joe Biden himself all but admitted.
And this morning, all across the nation, little girls woke up, especially little black and brown girls, who so often feel overlooked and undervalued in their communities. But today, just maybe, they're seeing themselves for the first time in a new way.
You can even see in that grab, can't you, and that was only 4 years ago, how much he has declined. And Harris too, well, she's failed lamentably at the one and only job she's ever been given, namely stopping the human wave coming across America's southern borders. Unsurprisingly, this is where the Republican attack ads launched within hours of Biden's announcement put their focus.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record.
Still, the ability of a united Democratic Party to make a real contest of the election should not be underestimated. Expect the left-wing media to see every rebuttal point from Trump as an attack against Harris, not as a rival candidate, but a hit against her as a woman. But Trump has squared off against a woman before in Hillary Clinton, and he won. Least of all because women walked away from Clinton and blue-collar workers in all the must-win swing states. And with Californian woke Harris, the swing states, perhaps even women, will be a problem again. But for all the Harris spin today, let's not forget she's yet to be confirmed as the Democratic candidate. In her own statement, she said she wanted to earn the nomination. And while those who might have run against her have folded, men like Gavin Newsom and Pete Buttigieg, she still hasn't been endorsed by power brokers like Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi. Will the August convention then be the mother of all brawls with someone else taking Harris on? Or will the opposition fold and the Democrats unite behind her, despite her poor record and indifferent polls, as their pick to take on Trump? For those dismayed at the Trump-Biden contest, a Trump-Harris contest, it would be hardly more edifying if this is her best to date.
Poor hubby. Poor hubby.
That's why we're here today, because we have the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
And after insisting for 3.5 years that Joe Biden was at the top of his game, who's going to believe the Democrats now? After all that lying, how credible will they be, insisting that that woman, Kamala Harris, really is the best person to shape the destiny of the free world in the most challenging times we've faced in 8 decades or more? And that's all particularly so when she's been knee-deep in the White House cover-up that's tried to hide the true state of Biden's health from US voters and the wider world.